Quick video here. I wanted to show you my new neck reset jig. And I have a whole video on using the neck reset jig, but this is a new one that I built for the Los Alamos shop because I really need to do neck resets here, and I do not want to do a reset without a jig. So I made a new one, and I made some improvements over it. First of all, let me show you how this works. See, this is just a clamp, and remember, I'll have a whole video on this. This is just a clamp, and in the last video, I discovered that the StewMac blocks fit beautifully over this and make a great block for the end of the guitar. I put some felt on this, stick-on felt, so it doesn't mar the guitar. So that's cool. And over here on these blocks, I made them taller this time, so that the clamp sits down all the way inside there, and that way it won't hit the guitar, and I can just put a tile over there if I want, but I don't need to do that. The guitar will just sit on this, and I could put felt on this too, you know, which I probably should do, keep from marring the guitar. But this is a much stabler platform. It's bigger than the other one. The other one was just a small thing. This is bigger, and this actually holds the guitar, so I don't have to mess with sandbags on this anymore. Over on this end, my original jig, I used friendly plastic, and I just have not had success with friendly plastic anymore. It sticks to everything. It's just not making me happy. So I made a wooden block, and it's cut for the V of the neck. And if you ever build one of these, you have to taper it. So it's if you look at the heel of your guitar, it's tapered like this. You've got to taper this block too, which is a little tricky. You know, you got to set it up I set it up in my bandsaw back here to cut these angles here. And then I got this rasp, this Dragon rasp that I hardly ever use for anything, but it's got a half round surface. And then I rasped it out to smooth everything, smoothed off all the corners, and then I stuck some felt in right here. It's only going to contact the bottom half of the heel, about that much of the heel. That's all you really need to do. When you put the guitar in here, which I'm going to do, you don't have to put a lot of pressure on it. You're just putting enough pressure to hold it and to hold a little bit of tension on the strings. The other thing I did on this one is I epoxied the magnet in there. And the epoxy is dry right now, finally just dried. So it fits on the middle part of this, and it fits on there, and it'll help hold that in place. It's countersunk, okay? So this countersink fits over to here, so that alone keeps this thing from flipping up and down, but the magnet holds it in place when I'm doing this. So we're going to throw a guitar in here, and I'll show you real quick how this works. I'm going to move the GoPro to a different place. All right, here we go. Here's the guitar. This is the first time I've used this live on camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the heel butt right there. And I'll move the camera here in just a second. Then we're going to put that down. I need to open it up a little bit more. There it is. All right. I got to take a little bit of material off of that still. I'll show you. Oh, I know, flip it. There we go. Duh. I need to mark it then. Yeah, I got to take a little bit more material off. That still holds it pretty good. Okay, let's take a tour. There's the clamp. That's the way I want it to fit. I opened it up a little bit more right here, reshaped it to the heel, taking into account the felt that's in there. And that felt's going to compress a little bit as I use it, but that's what I want it to look like right there. Nice and straight. The magnet's holding it into place so it doesn't fall on the floor when I loosen it up. And so that's it, you know. Back over to this end. That clamp, that part's working really good. The felt's making great contact. And again, there's not much pressure on this thing, you know. It's just to hold that heel in there. Oh yeah, and you want this to clear the body here. Make sure your wooden piece doesn't contact the body, because that defeats the whole purpose of the thing. So it wouldn't hurt me to trim that up a little bit right there. I'll probably go do that a little run on the bandsaw and trim that back a little bit just to make sure that it's contacting it. But there it is. All right, here we are. We're back on this again. And I have it in here. I'm going to be able to do this even though I want to adjust the block. So I've got the E's in there, the two low E, the two E's. And I'm just going to put that much tension. That's it. I'm not even stringing it to pitch. That's it. That's all I need. Now, what I can do now is sight down the neck and make sure I've got my E's where I want them on the neck. So make sure this E isn't over here, which would mean the neck would be on crooked, you see. This neck took very little neck reset to do to get right. So I didn't mess with anything. All right, now, got a pretty decent saddle in it. The saddle's a little bit low, so I'm gonna measure with my feeler gauges, and I wanna have about 60 thousandths of an inch on that low E. And I have less than that, so this is plenty of neck reset right now. The way I get 60 thousandths of an inch is when the guitar is completely strung to pitch before I did anything, I measured the action at the low E, because that's all I'm concerned about. I measured the low E, I slacked off all the strings, and I did this exact thing right here. I put just the two E's with just a little bit of tension on them, and I remeasured again with all the strings off. And the clearance here was probably about 76 thousandths of an inch or something like that. So now I know that I need to drop my action a certain amount, and I know that at this condition before I started it was 76 thousandths of an inch. So I did my calculations and my math, and now I know that I want to see about 60 thousandths of an inch when the neck angle is correct, okay? And again, I have a whole video on this where I go through all of the math and everything. The main thing I wanted to do here is just show you my new updated, modernized, lessons learned and applied jig in my remote Los Alamos shop. And now I can do neck resets in here. I did a steamer, and I did a quick video on that steamer. Maybe I'll just do a fresh one on this. And now I have a steamer, and I've got neck reset jig. I've got all my clamps, and I can do neck resets here in my remote Los Alamos shop, which means I can be productive. The only thing I can't do in here right now is bridges, and I'm getting there. I gotta get a drill press, and I gotta get another table over here, and then I should be able to do bridges in here, and then I will be do everything in this remote shop as well as my other one. So this is actually becoming more and more my main shop. Okay, there's your neck reset jig, and I'm good to go on this one. I've taken enough off. I'm happy with this action. And by the time I put the correct saddle on there, it's going to be good. I'm going to check my math off of camera before I actually do anything. But I think this neck is about ready to go. Oh, here we go. Yeah, put it down all the way. Okay, we'll see you later.